Hello there, it's a pleasant good evening. I'm Daniel Ankra. Welcome to the Week in Review. This is a 45 minutes package of major news events in Liberia and other parts of our global community. This Week in Review edition promises to be interesting. Top stories will follow in this presentation. President George Weah reassures Liberians of his commitment to prioritizing the agriculture sector. Reporters in Liberia risk expulsion for ethical transgression. New Reporter Association President warns. Ministry of Education announces primary exams in Liberia by 2021. National Port Authority says the dredging exercise at the port will be completed in 5 weeks to allow bigger vessels dock. These stories plus much more coming up in this evening's presentation of the Week in Review. I'm Daniel Ankara. Stay tuned. We will be right back after this short break. Welcome back to the Week in Review. President George Weah is said to be seriously concerned about constraints faced by Liberians in getting petroleum products in recent days. According to the Deputy Presidential Press Secretary, all relevant institutions are working towards resolving the situation. He made a disclosure this week at a press conference at the Executive Mansion Regular Update in Monrovia.
Means the dredging of the port as of tomorrow. It is again with you, our friends in the media, to please make some follow-up to see what is going to commence in time, because the President is equally concerned about the prevailing situation with queues of vehicles in filling stations and what have you. I'm sure the management team at the LPRC are doing their utmost best, but to get out of this situation, those institutions that are responsible are equally playing their part to make sure that this situation also come and pass its way so that we can continue to go along as a country. But I'm sure that our friends in those sectors are having some very good time. The President has been committed. Like he promised again that in this year, the issue of salary will be history. I'm sure the Ministry of Finance and those who are responsible are living up to the President's expectation in making sure that those basic things are.
Well, at the same time, Smith Toby reassured Liberians of President Weah's commitment to prioritizing the agriculture sector.
You are aware that the President's quest and for agriculture is very hard in this third term. The President is making sure that his commitment for agriculture will be utilized and is going to get fulfilled. He's believing in the ability of his current Minister of Agriculture to make sure that she deliver onto those commitment in turning the wheels of what the President actually wants to see happen. And again, the President wants to assure the public that his administration is going to live up to what they promised. The deliverable to the Liberian people is not being tainted. They are working to stabilize those situations. In time past, this time you're hearing more noise about people in the public, civil servants and what have you. I'm sure you no longer hear those noise. Again, I don't know why our media friends are not making a follow-up.
Well, in the course of this week, it was sadly announced that Liberia's ambassador to Senegal, Mary-Ann Fassung, has died. Ambassador Fassung reportedly died on Monday, February 3, at the Carthagena Hospital in Tunisia after a period of illness. The late Liberian ambassador plenipotentiary accredited to Senegal also had oversight for Liberia's foreign missions in the Gambia and Cape Verde, respectively. Meanwhile, President George Weah has and respond to the growing threat of crimes and robbery across the country. According to Justice Minister Councillor Musa Dean, 2 persons have been arrested and others are at large involved in the murder case of a German national in Basel. Addressing the Senate Tuesday, Minister Dean informed lawmakers that the prisoners will be sent to Grenjide as prisons in Monrovia are full.
We know that there has been a slight increase in the level of armed robberies around the country, especially in Monrovia, and plans are underway to respond to this threat. Regarding the issue or the incident in Bikana, around Bassa Country, our findings at this time confirm that it was an incident of armed robbery. 2 persons have been arrested and other suspects are on the run. We have some very good leads and we are hoping that within the next few days these suspects will be arrested. Are said to be perennial and repeated offenders. Unfortunately, they served their term and under the law, they were released. We are hoping that this time around,
Board members of the Green Climate Fund met in Monrovia this week to discuss strategies to better support actions in developing countries relating to climate change. The fund aims to empower countries to reduce greenhouse gas emission and adapt to smart practices that protect climate change. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Finance Minister Samuel Toye committed Liberia to supporting the initiatives to protect the climate.
We applaud the GCF and international stakeholders to work with countries to resolve constraints and accelerate actions toward accessing capital instruments and markets as options of development and financing. Over the next 2 years, the government of Liberia will scale up its efforts to draining the Liberian economy and developing a smarter approach to carbon financing as investors in its national adaptation plan and other climate-related strategies. Those still at moderate risk of debt distress, Liberia faces acute debt service burdens in the coming years, as well as natural concessional loans from previous years reached the expiry of their grace periods. This enjoins upon the government the importance of pursuing more creative development financing options. Leveraging our capital potential to the fullest is one such option. At the sidelines of COP25 held on December 9, 2019 in Spain and Madrid, the World Bank announced the Partnership for Market Implementation with country partners including Canada, Chile, Germany, Japan, Norway, Spain, and the United Kingdom. The partnership will provide technical assistance to countries to design, pilot, and implement carbon pricing and market instruments. It will support direct implementation of carbon pricing in at least 10 developing countries and help with further 20 countries get ready to do so. Under our new accelerated Green Climate Drive, our government will engage this partnership while working to meet preconditions to resolve all issues and challenges that can be dealt with in this engagement. In the next 3 years, we aim to place Liberia on the preparedness and readiness path to leverage a significant increase in the quantum of carbon financing. Liberia has much to contribute to the green.
Well, for his part, the GCF board chairman, Norman Batty, challenged the fund to enhance its strategies aimed at reaching more people and more countries.
This meeting comes at a critical juncture for the GCF. As we gather here to deliberate over all the fundamental building blocks of the fund, a strategic plan that will set the fund's strategic priorities for the coming years. As a country-driven organization, we aspire for the GCF to respond effectively to the needs and priorities of the developing countries. Within this context, our site visit dated today will enable us to witness firsthand the reality of climate change in Liberia, understand the particular challenges as well as the needs of the country, and assess how the GCF can contribute to achieving the impact at scale. I close by especially thanking Jeremiah, a fellow board member on the GCF board, who has worked tirelessly to bring us together here so that we can candidly discuss and gain clarity on some of the issues that underpin development of a robust, informed, and implementable strategic plan. Once again, I thank you for hosting us, and I look forward to a positive outcome of this meeting.
Meanwhile, Sue Sabado from Canada wants the Green Climate Fund to effectively respond to the needs of developing countries.
Your presence here inspires our high-level ambition for this meeting, given the vital role the Green Climate Fund plays in supporting developing countries in the transition to a lower emissions and climate-resilient world. The Green Climate Fund has had successful first replenishment outcomes. But being here in Liberia really brings home how these resources must be directed towards meaningful and measurable improvements in the lives of people and communities in the face of accelerating climate change. Our 2020 to 2023 strategic plan will indicate what the world should expect from us and will provide a clear and transparent roadmap for all our GCF partners, countries, accredited entities, civil society, and the private sector who are working with us to put our ambitious vision into operation. This clear roadmap will also give us a way of strategically prioritizing the tremendous demand that we have now on GCF resources. Prioritizing so that developing countries will get the greatest value and the highest quality of support and projects.
Education Minister Professor D. Ansu Sonny says plans are underway to complete the school grading exercise to regulate how learning institutions charge fees and tuition in the country. He made the comments Thursday when he appeared before the Senate to report on the causes of tuition hike experienced by parents at the start of this academic school year.
And our authority regarding private school tuition and fees is to regulate based on guidelines that the Ministry of Education has set. The Ministry of Education has not done that prior to now. It is being done now, as I told you last year. And what is being done is to determine the status, the quality, the standing of every school in this country, private and public. That, according to the law, is what is referred to as a school grading. When the grading exercise is done and completed, out of that grading exercise, we will now develop the guidelines, because every school will now be placed in categories based on what you are offering, so that fee commensurate with service. If you do not have the service, you cannot charge a fee. And so that will help us to do it with empirical, strong evidence that we can show to anyone why we are pursuing that way. However, before then, when we did this exercise, it came to our attention that even the public schools violated our own rules. Private schools.
The Ministry of Education says third graders across the country will by 2021 begin sitting assessment exams. Education Minister Ansu Sonny said the exams, which will focus on reading and spelling, is aimed at adequately preparing students in the early childhood education sector for public exams. He spoke Thursday when he launched the National Keep Reading campaign in Sinko.
The emphasis now is early childhood. And early childhood, the key component of early childhood learning up to 3rd grade is reading. It is for this reason that we've determined beginning 2021, we shall now begin to administer assessment exam at the 3rd grade level, having to do with reading and spelling and certain basic things. We're not talking about math and biology and all that stuff. Just know how to read full stop. And then we assess them also at the 6th grade and assess them at the 9th grade. So by the time they are at the 12th grade level, they're good to go. But let me just take this time officially to launch this reading campaign. We want to make sure that they take from here to ensure that the issue of reading becomes principle in the review of any curriculum, in the teaching methods that we intend to adopt. It is for this reason that we even intend to increase the new curriculum for teacher training is going to go to 12 months for C certificate. Because we found a 9-month certificate is not enough. And that, the beginning courses for that will begin with content. And we have found out that many of our C certificates lack content. And because they lack content capacity, we teach them how to teach what they don't know. So we have now determined that we must first test what they know, and then we teach them how to teach. This is how we're going to go.
Well, the executive director of the Kids Education Engagement Project, Brenda Moore, says Liberian schools and educators need to apply robust efforts in creating and promoting a culture of reading in Liberia.
Things like our KIP that we do, we promote a culture of reading, and we do that through several ways. One, we create reading spaces. In the last 3.5 years, we've been able to create 15 reading rooms in 7 counties. We do teachers training, so the schools that we establish the libraries in, we reading rooms in, we train the teachers on reading strategies. We also host regular reading sessions where we try to get parents and community people to also see the importance of reading and get the children themselves developing that love for reading. We've also been doing study bees with the children, drama, different things just to stimulate them to see that reading is not physics that you should run away from. Not that you should run away from physics, but it's something to enjoy. We also do advocacy, we do computer literacy, and we do economic skills livelihood. This year and today we are here to work mostly on our first pillar, which is our flagship program, reading. This year we'll be launching 6 additional rooms to the 15 we already have, and we'll be going to 3 new counties, Nimba, Maryland, and Bomi. So we're very excited about that. Now, Liberia education system was very good at the time and exemplary in the region. And because we had really over the years back then cultivated that culture of reading. And a lot of people say that those days are gone. And while this might seem true in some sense, I also know that we can together bring back those days.
Riverside County Senator Francis Pay has communicated to his colleagues for an act to establish the Riverside County Community College and grant it a charter. His communication was contained in a letter read in Senate plenary by Deputy Chief Clerk Genevieve Massaquoi.
One, that the establishment of said institution in the county would enable students graduating from high schools and other institutions in Riverside County to enroll instead of going to Grand Bassa County, which is capital intensive, especially for those parents who cannot afford. 2, that the attached hereto is the proposed building located in Riverside, Eastchester City, Riverside County, to house the Riverside Community College, which is presently under construction. This is the photo of the proposed. 3, that the RCCC, when established, will ensure the provision of quality higher education to not only the inhabitants of Riverside County, but the citizens of Liberia, where qualified persons may obtain instructions in fields or areas of interest, and 4, to provide a learning environment where students, faculty, administrators, researchers, irrespective of race, sex, religion, class or creed can enjoy equal opportunity to study, learn, and achieve. Honorable President Pro Tempore and colleagues, it is my fervent hope that the Senate will find reasons to enumerate above to enhance the tax bill into law so as to give the people of Russell County their share of the establishment of higher educational infrastructure.
The president of the Press Union of Liberia, Charles Coffey, is encouraging the newly elected leadership of the Reporters Association of Liberia to serve with diligence and listen to their colleagues. Serving as induction officer at the new RAL leadership ceremony, Mr. Coffey called for collaboration between the leadership and reporters in Liberia.
So the confident reports to you, it is my belief that you're going to justify that confidence. Having said that, please call your name and your position. Just follow me.
I, Cecilia P. Clark,
do solemnly swear that I will obey, protect the Constitution of the Reporters Association of
the Constitution of the Reporters Association of Liberia.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Some of you, I don't know. So we have the Assistant Secretary General,
The Financial Secretary.
yeah, the Financial Secretary, please repeat after me. Call your name, your title.
I, Anna A. Gedepna, Financial Secretary of the Reporters Association of Liberia.
Do solemnly swear that I will obey, protect the Constitution of the Reporters Association of Liberia.
The Constitution of the Reporters Association of Liberia.
So help me God.
So help me.
So some of you, I don't know, members of Reporters Association, these are your leaders. Do not leave them alone. Once you elect people, the reason you elect them is to coordinate your activities. So please work with them. Leaders, your people. Thank you very much.
Well, the guest speaker at the induction ceremony, Riverview County lawmaker Francis Dopo, challenged the leadership to live up to the expectation of the colleagues.
Religious scholars say that the defunct Tari, T-A-R-R-Y, Tari as the period between the prophecy and its implementation. But in my thinking of leadership, I try to point in a way that still presents the actual meaning. Today, you are being elected, and the expectation from your colleagues, I think you have done your SWOT analysis. I think you have all your SMART goals. But they are now looking within the period between their expectation and the result. And to do so, they will have to tarry. Today, when people go to tarry, they spend the whole night in praise and worship, you know that. But this tarry I'm talking about is the one that you will have a to-do list. Because you don't want a crowded list, you should have a to-do list. You will have to take action. I listen to you talking about penalizing writers. As you go to penalize some of your writers, maybe you need to provide more education to some. I don't know where in this world that you can set a grading system with no perimeters. Some people grade at the end of the day in your newspaper without knowing what are they grading and who they are.
Well, if you're just joining us, a reminder that you're following the Weekend Review here on the Liberia National Television. When we come back from our break, we'll be hearing from the newly elected president of the Reporters Association of Liberia. But top stories we're following on the Weekend Review today. President Weah reassures his commitment to agriculture. Reporters in Liberia risks expulsion for ethical transgression. New Reporters Association president warns. Ministry of Education announces primary exams in Liberia by 2021. National Port Authority says the dredging exercise at the port will be completed within 5 weeks. We will be right back after this break. I'm Daniel Ankra presenting. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Lntv News Live. The new Reporters Association of Liberia President Cecilia Clark vows to prioritize the well-being of journalists in Liberia. In her induction speech Friday, journalist Clark also called for better security and reporters' relationship to promote smooth collaboration in the country.
Therefore, our leadership shall join forces with our parent body, the Press Union of Liberia, to ensure the collective bargaining agreement is adhered to by media managers. The welfare of our members is a top priority on our agenda. We will knock on the doors of media managers any day, any time, to dialogue and remedy issues confronting reporters. I challenge you, media managers, to inspire confidence and passion in your reporters to strive for professionalism. Our administration shall place significant focus on security-journalist relationship. There are cases we can recount where reporters were brutalized and humiliated by state security forces. We will work to ensure the relationship between reporters and security personnel is cordial. We shall go beyond condemnation and take practical steps to better the journalist-security relationship. This administration shall work with various state security institutions in the country to conduct security trainings for our reporters.
Meanwhile, Madam Cecilia Clark is also warning reporters against unethical transgression or risks being expelled from the association.
Distinguished media colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, inasmuch we intend to uncompromisingly advocate for the welfare of our colleagues and the administration, our administration will take steps to ensure bad apples are weeded out of the profession. We are aware of some of our colleagues who are using their various platforms to extort from newsmakers. We are also aware of some of our colleagues who are using their various platforms to spew invectives and hate messages to undermine the peace our country enjoys. We shall play that leadership role as leaders of the biggest auxiliary of the Press Union of Liberia to discourage such acts. We shall set fair rules by insisting on the Press Union of Liberia to take punitive actions against reporters who ethically transgress in the discharge of their duty. This leadership sees professionalism as mandatory for all reporters. The Reporter Association of Liberia wants to have the teeth to bite. Therefore, we shall work with the RAL to ensure we do not only name and shame yellow journalists, but also be given the power to expel them from the association.
The Liberia Petroleum Refining Company, LPRC, Director Marie Ure Coleman says there is sufficient petroleum products in the country, contrary to reports of shortage. Addressing lawmakers Tuesday, Madam Ure Coleman said the company experienced delay in the arrival of the products, but maintained that there is no shortage of the product. She made the disclosure at a press conference in Monrovia recently.
In the month of December, our scheduled petroleum products, which was scheduled for February, our scheduled petroleum products from our importers that was scheduled for usage in February did not arrive in December. We were assured by our importers who are licensed to bring products into the country that our products would be here in December per our communication and legal contracts that we have with our importers. We were informed by our importers that the APM had given them vessel restrictions due to some ongoing work that was scheduled to take place at the port. The APM terminal had informed our importers that there were some vessel restrictions. The depth and size of the vessels had to be reconfirmed to suit our current condition at the NPA.
Meanwhile, Commerce Minister Wilson Tape says his entity is working tirelessly to stabilize the prices of petroleum products on the Liberian market.
The representation we made regarding the availability of the product 10 days ago was based on data we collect. And based on that data, there should not have been a problem. But the actual situation pointed to a problem. So we had a meeting with LPRC and the importers, and it was discovered that indeed the level of orders that should have gone for fuel did not come in. And that's what the scarcity came about. So what we do at the meeting was to form a crisis group to see how we deal with this thing. We brought in, with LPRC's cooperation and the importers, a major importer, Total, who was in possession of inventory, was asked and they provided assistance to those who did not have. This is why the lines were as intense as they were. Working together also, we were able to diversify the little that we had to other smaller stations so that this situation will be killed. But we still have a problem, and I will suggest, sir, that with respect to the importation that is coming, what could even LPRC to give it. What we do at the Ministry of Commerce also is to ensure that in spite of all of this, the price of gas and fuel oil remain the same.
The National Port Authority Managing Director Bill Twewe says the ongoing dredging process at the port will be completed within 5 weeks to allow bigger vessels dock. Addressing the Senate Thursday, Mr. Twewe said when completed, it will extend the port entry channel to 13.5 meters.
The dredging of the Freeport Monrovia should have been done in August last year. We met and found out that to dredge the port at a time when it is ready, when the tasks are hard, was not good for us. The actual depth that you want to go to will not be realized. Although we're aware of the high degree of citation but the removal of the vegetation cannot be done during the rainy season when the tides are high. So in October 18, we sent something we call safety memo to all shipping lines, informing them what kind of vessel could berth at the Freeport of Monrovia. That is a forewarning to tell you that, look, our channel are getting narrower and these are the kind of vessels that should enter into our port. Since October, vessels have been coming and products have been coming. Even before the okra on the 22nd of January, before the okra on the 24th, a vessel berthed and brought in products. So I want to tell you that we are in line with what we told the Liberian people who are done, or we told the shipping that we are done. We have started the dredging of the port. We started Tuesday at 3 p.m. and dredging is ongoing now, and in a matter of days or few weeks, not less than 3 and not more than 5, our entry channel will be about 3.5 meters.
The Director of County Health Services at the Ministry of Health has stressed the importance of electricity in achieving universal health coverage in Liberia. Speaking at the inauguration of solar energy system at the Petroleum Health Center, Madam Lauren Cooper said electricity will also reduce maternal deaths in the country.
We are talking about universal health coverage. We are talking about the reduction of maternal and neonatal deaths and all of the morbidities that go along with it. Our country is amongst the highest in the sub-Saharan region when it comes to maternal and neonatal death. And we know that if we utilize the electrification of our facilities wisely, again I state wisely, it will go a long way in alleviating most of the challenges that we are faced with. It is quite unfortunate as a pregnant woman if you go to the facilities and you have to deliver in darkness. So what is the difference between you giving birth in the facility in darkness and you giving birth maybe in the village on a mat, again in darkness? The quality of services provided will be impeded because oftentimes these mothers, the children, even adults, care is given and there is no lighting facility. Or sometimes, even if there is lighting facility, it is not adequate.
Meanwhile, the UNDP Deputy Resident Representative Mulugeta Abebi said the solar health project will increase access to health facilities in Liberia.
It's aligned with the government's pro-poor agenda for development. It's also aligned with our own United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework. It's also aligned with our own new country program, which we are just embarking. And we believe that this project will help to make universal health care a reality. The Solar for Health, in summary, aims to essentially increase access to health services to the population, particularly the vulnerable population. At the same time, the project also aims to reduce carbon dioxide or CO2 emissions from the health sector. As you know, climate change is a big agenda at the moment, so this project will help in its own way to reduce CO2 emissions. It will also help improve storage conditions of health commodities in the country. The solar for health, in addition to this, could also be used to improve the overall power supply for the health sector in Liberia. It also aims to ensure the legal environment and incentives available to support to scale up the solar energy use. It can also be used to provide lighting to schools nearby the health.
Well, meanwhile, the CEO of Eco Power Liberia stressed the importance of solar power to health and environmental protection.
I don't have to tell you the statistics, as Moses has just said. Lives are lost so many times because there's no electricity in the health centers, and we hope that we can play a very important role really make this going. The good thing about this system is a hardware system, meaning that it can be used to charge the battery from wind, from the sun, from hydro, from any source of energy that is around. But right now we are only using the generator and the solar. The good thing is that it's set so that when the battery level falls at 30% before the generator kicks in. And as far as we are concerned, that is going to be a very long time because the sun is very powerful. One of the best things that we have. We are right around the equator. As you know, the sun shines, the radiation is very high. So we have a long way to go. The other good thing about the system is that we have autonomous hours, meaning even during the rainy season, we are still going to be able to have very long activity power that is going on.
Well, television viewers, on that notice, I will come to the end of tonight's presentation of the Week in Review. But just before we go, a recap of some of the key stories we've been following. President George Weah reassures his government's commitment to agriculture. Reporters in Liberia risk expulsion for ethical transgression, New Reporter Association president warns. Ministry of Education announces primary exams in Liberia by 2021. The National Port Authority says dredging exercise at the port will be completed within 5 weeks. Thanks to all of our producers and editors who helped making this package a success. Fresh edition of the news returns on Monday morning at 10 o'clock. Until then, I'm Daniel Ankwe. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Yeah, alright. Tomorrow, hey, the sun is gonna shine, yeah. Listen now, everything's gonna be alright now, alright now.